I think we are ready to start. So, hi everyone, and thank you for joining our deep dive webinar. Today we are going to explore a new V1 Ingress feature. I want to welcome three of my colleagues, Ori Chorev from the product management team, and Dimitri Tachnek and Netanel Moore from the R&D. I see that Netanel just joined us. I will give the stage to Ori for a quick high-level overview, and then I will take it from there and show you how to use this new cool feature. Ori, the stage is yours. I will stop share and you can share your screen.
Okay. Hi. Hi everybody. As Shai said, I'm Ori. I'm a PM in Cloud Network Security. I'll steal only 3-4 minutes of your time to give a little wider framing of the issue that we're going to discuss today. So if you've joined to hear about ingress traffic for Azure Virtual WAN, you probably know the CGNS V1 integration already. For those of you who are less familiar with it, I'll go over it in high level. We're talking about CGNS integration with Azure Virtual WAN. We'll specify what is CGNS V1 integration, why is the integration so successful and appealing to many customers, what great commercial benefits we provide, and what is coming in the near and far future. So Azure Virtual WAN is a connectivity service that solves a real ops pain. Without it, you will have to manually peer the VNets, which is a labor-intensive, error-prone manual work, and has many performance and resiliency issues due to complex connectivity and traffic volume. So as mentioned, Azure V1 takes all this and simplifies it into a connectivity service. You can scale as much as you want very easily. Plus, there's a very important fact that Microsoft is promoting this solution very intensively, and they plan to have as many as 70% of Azure deployment in 5 years use V1. The integration of CGNS into V1 is basically taking Check Point Gateway and putting it natively into the V1 hub, managing everything from a single pane of glass. Note that in this sketch before you, the management is managing the Quantum on-prem gateways in New York HQ, as well as the cloud gateways. So basically, you get all of Check Point well-known Quantum gateway capabilities inside the V1, managed from a single pane of glass, one-stop shop for all that is written here: the network security, all the traffic flows inspection, secured connectivity, on-prem, SD-WAN, remote access and SASE, app security through WAF and API protection, compliance, DLP, and so on and so on. And a few more things that are not listed, like subnet to subnet inspection within the same VNet, which will be available soon. SD-WAN directly to the hub with no workarounds will be available soon as well. And site-to-site VPN, we are in a pre-EA phase. We can whitelist specific account upon request if someone interested in being a design partner for this feature. Note that, as mentioned, this is not GA yet. A little bit about the commercial benefits. Customer love this integration because it is consumption-based. You pay only for what you use per processed gigabyte. It is purchased and transacted on Azure Marketplace. And there's a clear unified business model. It's very easy to understand what you're paying for, which is not the usual case in cloud computing and networking. The packaging is tiered. There are 3 tiers, and the price is always by processed gigabyte, very clear to understand. And there is also another layer. If you want to get the deployment, maintenance, monitoring as a managed service, you still pay by consumption. That's the price, including the managed service. So to wrap everything up, you get Check Point security inside the V1. All security use cases are covered. You pay only per usage by processed gigabyte, and there is an option for a managed service. And with that, as promised, I'll move you back to Shai.
Wonderful. So as always, I'm starting with a network diagram. You're familiar, I hope, with this structure. And this is what we have till now: east-west traffic inspection and also outgoing traffic inspection to the internet with Azure Intent Route. Okay, so we can use the Azure Intent Route to route the traffic for internal subnet through the NLB and through the gateways, and the same also for outgoing traffic. What we have added now, Azure added, is this functionality of SLB, Software Load Balancer. And for that, you will need to deploy a new template from the marketplace. I will show you, we've updated just yesterday, that is going to create this functionality of this SLB, Software Load Balancer. On top of this Software Load Balancer, you can put multiple public IP. You will need to create public IP and attach them to the SLB. And the type of IP or the SLB is floating IP, which means is that if you will, there is an article in Azure that explains what is floating IP for load balancer. So floating IP is basically Azure changed the IP address mapping to the front-end IP address of the load balancer. So when Azure get a hit on the public IP, he send it to the backend, which is in this case the checkpoint NVA, with the same public IP, same destination, and it reached the NVA, this one or this one. I have two in this use case. And the NVA is going to process the packet. We are going to create a NAT rule that will change the destination IP, will replace the public IP1 with the private IP, let's say this guy, the NGINX server. And also is going to change the source IP to ETH1, which represent the internal IP of the NVA. So this guy will be able to route back through the same NVA that accept the original packet. So the packet will not reach this machine by mistake. Okay, all the process will be via of the session via this specific NVA. So for that, I'm going to show you step by step what you need to do, but there are requirements. So first, you will need to deploy a new NVA from the template that we've just published yesterday. And in this NVA, in this template, we allow you to enable ingress. You will see, you know what, I will show you it in a minute. You will see there is an option to enable ingress. If you have an existing NVA, you will need to deploy a new template in parallel, and then move the intent route to point on the new NVA. There is another requirement. The CME version need to be 261. And I'm going to show you how to update it. So basically, it should be updated automatically. I think that now there is some kind of maintenance. It's not going to happen in the next few days. It's going to take a week or so. So still we going to auto-update it automatically. If you want to test it now, I'm going to show you how to remove the CME and get the new package of 261. The second one, I already mentioned that we need to deploy a new template and we need to create a public IP and attach them. And all of this feature is basically available on Azure Public Preview. So instead of accessing Azure portal.azure.com, you need to put preview.portal.azure.com before you can enable this feature. And I'm going to show you that as well in a minute. So let's start, let's take a look on the hub. And I have two deployments. One, I have a hub in West Central US. And I have two network virtual appliance deployment, the old one and the new one. So first, in order to see the feature, you need to go to, I will write here, preview. So the preview is going to expose the feature, this new feature. You see NVA configuration. If I will I will click on manage configuration for the old deployment, the old template. and you need to configure it from the internet inbound, you will see that you don't have the option to do that. If I will go to the new one, manage configuration, here it will allow me to add the IP addresses. So when you deploy it, you have to deploy it with at least one IP address. You can create a new IP address, or you can point on existing IP address. But here in the new deployment, I have one IP address, and adding more IP addresses, it's take like a few minutes for each one of them to be attached. So let's do the first one. I'm going to create, let's say that I want to expose those two web servers, and for each one of them, I want to expose both of them on port 80. So I'll create, I have one IP address that is already attached, and to the SLB, and I will create another one. So West Central US, IP2. So let's wait for it to be deployed. We have this new IP on the list. And now I can go back to the virtual one. On the NVA, select manage configuration on the new one. Internet inbound. And I will attach the IP address, IP2. Okay, you need to select the resource group. This is the default one, IP2. Now this process going to take like something like 5-6 minutes. And now we have time, so I'm going to show you from the marketplace. This is the cloud network security for a virtual one. And I want to show you what we have added to this template. So here, this is the part that we've added here in the bottom. Use public IP for ingress public preview. So you need to click yes, and you can create, the template can create a new IP address, or you can select a public, an existing public IP that you already have, okay? This is the only difference that we've done in the template, something that you are going to be aware of. So let's see what is the status. So is still adding the IP. Now let's add let's update the CME. So on the management, to see the CME version, you can write CME menu. In the CME menu, number 7 will show you the version, which is 250. Okay, and as I said, we need 261. So I'm going to show you how to do that. To remove the CME completely, we'll use the command and I can also, I'm going to write you that on the chat. auto-updatable CLI, revert completely CME. And to check if it's revert completely, you can check the log. The log from the left is just a summary. For more details, you can check the log from the right. So tail on this log will show you that the revert was succeeded and we don't have a CME. Now what I'm going to do, you can download the CME version 265 from the support center. I already downloaded it, so I just copy it to my machine. And I'm going to install this CME version 261. And again, to see the results, tail on this file will give me the result that the CME install completed successfully. By the way, if you have a configuration on the CME, you work with VMSS, ScaleSet, removing the CME does not remove the configuration. So you can remove the CME, although and all the configuration is going to stay intact. Now, the second thing that we need to do now is to add. I didn't add them to the Smart console, the two NVAs that I have. So I want to show you how to do that from the CME. This is also a feature that we have. You can always do it manually, and it's easy if you have just two NVA. You can add them manually, but if you have more than two, you can also deploy 60. I guess you are going to do it from the CME, and I'm going to show you how to do it now. So from the CME menu, click 1 for Azure, 2 for V1, and 1 for configure NVA gateways on the management server. I don't have an MDS, so none. And I need to put here the tenant ID, which is the directory ID. The client ID, which is the application ID. Secrets. Subscription. The manage app resource group name. This is where the resource group where the NVA exists. So let's find it. I will search for a manage application. I will go to the new one, NVA new app. And from there you have manage resource group name. So this is the resource group that we need. To verify that, you can click on show hidden types and you're going to see the NVA. This is my NVA. So I will copy the resource group name. And the NVA name. And we almost done. The SIG, the same SIG that I use in the template. And the last one is the policy name that is going to install on them. And the policy name, you can grab it from here. We use the default one, which is standard. And I don't want to enable threat prevention blades. You can add them manually also later on. If you want, you can enable them. I don't want to enable them. And now the CME is going to fetch from Azure the NVA, the IP addresses, and add them to the management. It's going to take a minute or two. So here is the first one. So again, it's going to save you time, a lot of time, if you have many NVA in the group. And now he's installing pushing the policy. So now let's say that the NVAs are ready, the new one, and we have also the old one. So what I'm going to do on the virtual one, on the hub itself, I'm going to change the intent route to route all the traffic, the internet traffic, and also the private traffic from the old NVA to the new NVA. Now for the stage of what we need to do now, the ingress, we need to make sure that the NVA new, the one that we want to configure the ingress, the provisioning state is succeeded and not update. We cannot move forward to the next stage once it's on the updating stage, because we need to configure the software load balancer, and for that we need to be on succeeded stage. So we will have to wait for that. In the meanwhile, let's check that the IP address was added. So we have two IP addresses, and you see that we don't have a load balancer rule associated with those two IP addresses. We've successfully updated the routing policy. It's still attaching public IP to the NVA. So it takes sometime more than 7 minutes. We have another question: if we can manage the NVA via private IP, for example, via ExpressRoute, using the management on-prem.
So yes, you can, but you need to take care of the routes, because you don't want the management to arrive from the load balancer. You want a direct connection with the gateways itself.
There's a question if Checkpoint VMS is possible on the V1 hub. So no, it's not VMSS. VMSS currently is not supported. And also it's not a cluster, so they are not syncing the connection. It's a single gateway.
Let me answer. So yes,
okay.
Behind the scene, it is a VMSS, but it's not auto scale. It means that you cannot auto scaling your environment. It means that you statically have number of instances, but behind the scene, it is a VMSS.
Okay, so I see we will answer more question later on. I see that the IP was attached successfully, and just let's see that the status was changed. So we see that the provision state is succeeded, so we can move forward to the next step of configuring the ingress rule. So click F5, configure ingress rule. CME menu. 1 for Azure, 2 for V1, 5 configure ingress rules. I cannot configure ingress rule, something that I forgot. We have to configure a controller. Okay, on the CME, we have to configure controller. Controller basically is the credentials that we give for the CME to access Azure, and configure the SLB. So let's configure the controller. We can configure the controller. We just need the controller. We don't need a template. So there is a way to do it with the management CLI. And you can see it also on the chat. I will put, you can do it from the management CLI. Give me a second. I will share with you the command. You have it on the chat, or you can do it with the Autoprov CFG. In this case, you don't have the option to create just the controller. You also need to create the template. So it's a longer command, and I'm going to use the Autoprov CFG. So let me create the controller. So the controller has, again, the subscription, the application ID, the secret, and so on. So just to check that the controller can access Azure and all the credentials are okay, I can run the command service CME test. And if I am not going to get an error here, which I don't, so the controller is fine, and I can move forward to the next step of configuring the ingress. So CME _ menu, 1 for Azure, 2 for V1, 5 for configuring the ingress rules. I need to select the controller. The CME can have multiple controllers to multiple Azure tenants, multiple clouds, so I have just one controller. The policy package, standard. And it's going to bring the NVA that support ingress, which I have only one. So I'm going to see in a moment only one in the list. Okay, the NVA new, we'll select one. Now this is the menu for adding the rules for the ingress. And the CME is going to configure both the checkpoint management, is going to add access rule and NAT rule, and also going to configure the SLB. So I'm going to add two rules. So the first rules, this one is going to be for my NGINX server. And it's TCP, and the source is going to be from all the internet, 000/0. And the ingress IP name, this is the floating IP, and you can see them, the available IP. So we have two IP addresses, IP2 and NVA new IP ingress. Let's use IP2 for this one. And the translated destination IP address is going to be this NGINX server. 1 or 4, it doesn't really matter. So the internal IP. So it's going to be 10.1.0.1.4. The destination port, this is the listener on the load balancer, and also the listener, the same is going to be on the checkpoint. So let's publish this one on port 8080. And the translated port, my NGINX is listening on port 80. So this is the first one. I will add it. And let's have another rule for the Apache. And again, from 0000/0. And now I'm going to use the second IP address, the public IP, NVA new IP ingress. and the IP is 10.0.2.4. And this one, let's listen for this one on port 80. And since it's port 80 and also port 80 on the destination, I don't need to put anything here, but I can, but it's not mandatory. And I'm adding this rule. And now I'm going to, you will see that on the checkpoint, on the security policy, I have a naked security policy, also on the NAT rules. And let's see what the CME is going to do. So I'm publish. So this is the last stage. The policy has been installed, and we can see what we have here. So we have two rules. The rules that I've set in the CME. The original destination is the floating IP from all the internet to port 8080, and we are going to hide the packet behind the local gateway internal, which represent the internal IP of the gateway. And we translate the destination to the private IP of the NGINX on port 80. And we have another rule with the second floating IP, and this one listening on port 80. Also, the load balancer listening on the SLB is also listening on port 80. Here is listening on port 8080. And we hide behind the local IP and translate it to the Apache IP address on the original port, which is port 80. On the access rule, we have a layer policy here with two rules from all the internet to the public IPs, to the floating IP on port 8080 and port 80. So now we can check the access and to see if we can access those two servers or public IP addresses. So we have this one. And this one is for, I don't remember if it's a port 80, I think. So this is the Apache on port 80. And let's take IP2, which should listen on port 8080. And we should get the NGINX, and we get the NGINX. So basically, this is it. And to remove rules, let's go back to configure ingress rule. Azure standard. So let's say that I want to delete the first rule. Delete and publish, and it's going to configure the load balancer and also the checkpoint. You can also see the rules on the NVA, the virtual one, hub, on the network virtual appliance, go to manage configuration, and on the internet inbound, you can see the rules. So this one also already removed by the CME. On IP2, you can see that he's listening on port 8080. And now it's updating it. So this is it. And let's, please, Netanel and Dima, please open the mic and let's see what question do we have. So
okay.
When bring your own license will come? Netanel or Ori, do you want to answer this one?
Yes, sure. So right now, bring your own license is not an option.
And it's not planned. It's not planned for the future, right?
And it's not planned. Yes, currently the consumption is based on the throughput.
Yes, there is a question if we can preserve the source IP of the actual client. So the checkpoint is going to see the actual client.
Yeah.
Checkpoint, yes, but we are doing a NAT, a translated NAT for the source.
So the server,
the G2s cannot know, but
the end server is not going to see the original IP. He's going to see the checkpoint IP. The checkpoint see the original IP.
Yes.
Okay. When can we expect this feature directly on the portal instead of the CME? So this question is for Microsoft, right?
Currently, Microsoft do not want to have the option to configure the load balancing rules from the portal. This is why we have the CME to do it for you, for the customers. It was part of Microsoft requirements, and they have no plan to support it in the portal. The first question is, do SLB load balancing rules have a possible floating IP as a regular NLB? So this is the default configuration. The load balancer.
But I'm not sure that everyone heard it. Can you repeat it out loud so everyone will know what you're answering on?
Sure. Do SLB load balancing rules have the possibility of floating IP as regular NLB? Reason is to get secure acceleration. So the floating IP is the basic configuration. This is the default configuration. So yes, it's possible.
The CLI interface shown for ingress rules, is that also adding the forwarding rule to the Azure load balancer?
Yes. So behind the scene, the interface that Shai just presented, creating two APIs. One is for the cloud for the load balancing rule, and one is to the match NAT rule on the management.
Why create an inline layer with any? This can create a problem in production. I think that the public IP is missing in the destination.
It's depend on your rule base. We not always create an any. It depends on your configuration inside the menu.
What do you mean, Netanel? The menu will show access from anywhere to a specific floating IP. And here in the access rule, it's create this source any, which means that all the traffic that match this rule will go inside.
Dima?
Yeah, so basically it will match to every traffic that goes through the NVA, and there is no cleanup rule, so it will continue to the regular policy. Basically, it's just a way to group the basically when the rule matches, it goes inside. You have your rules that you created. You have public. You say that you don't see the public IP, but it's inside. It's the destination there. You can have multiple public IPs per your rules.
But I understand what he is saying, and we will take it offline. We will discuss it, and we will see if what we can do about it. This is something that will answer on the. I will upload this recording to a post on Checkmate, and we will answer the questions. So we'll see what we can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you create a NAT rules direct from Smart Console? So basically, no, it's not supported. It's only supported from the CMA.
Yeah, if you try to rewrite it, it's just when the next publish will overwrite the changes.
Okay. When will Checkpoint VPN site-to-site terminating on the NVA will be available as a GA?
Currently, the target is around Q3, but we will still have some challenges and some features that are pending Microsoft. Can we set up IPv6 ingress and forwarding to IPv4? No, currently IPv6 is not supported by Microsoft for the V1.
Who is responsible for the SLB for any issue? Is that Microsoft or Checkpoint?
Microsoft. All the resources are deployed on Microsoft tenant, and only Microsoft has access to those resources. And Microsoft, of course, we have a joint support, so they have direct access to Checkpoint.
Can we use the old VMM in Azure instead of the managed app as it lacks of bring your own license? So this is not supported.
You can take your VMSS inside the VNet and just build it to the V1, but it won't be in the middle of the hub. It means that it won't inspect any traffic that travel in this hub.
And any additional costs for SLB, or it's part of the traffic consumption? So there is no additional cost for that.
Yeah, the cost is by the throughput. Is there any option to select traffic to flow to app instead of all? Dima?
So I guess this is related to what we discussed with the any. We'll discuss it and we'll see what we can do about it. I will update it on the post. Logging is off for the rules, and they say do not edit. Can logging of rules be enabled? So this will come on the upcoming CME, which is 262, right?
We're not sure what the take will be, but yeah, it should be in the next release.
So yeah, we are working on it right now. On the next release, you will have the option to select if you want to log or not.
Last question. I understand you mentioned behind the scene V1 use VMSS. Does that mean NVA can scale up, down the capacity automatically? So no, it's not automatic scaling, as I said. Currently, if you want to change the capacity, on the deployment, you need to choose the scale unit, which behind the scene will create 2 to 5 instances, depending on the scale unit that you choose. You cannot change it after the deployment. You will need to redeploy and do a side-by-side replacement for your deployment.
How does the east-west traffic is built? Like egress and ingress traffic? It's the same, right? It's based on throughput. It doesn't matter where the traffic is going. Am I right, Nathaniel?
Yes, it's on all the throughput that
pass through the NVA is being charged.
Yeah, pass through
no matter
any of the instances. Yeah.
So I think we answer all of the questions. Guys, thank you very much. Thank you for the audience that come to this webinar. Ori, Nathaniel, Dimitri, great work. And I'm going to upload it, this recording to Checkmates by the end of the day. and I hope that we'll also have all the answered. Also, once I will have it, I will also upload it to the post. So again, if the recording is going to be available soon, yes, by end of the day, we will find it on Checkmates. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Shai. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.